Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and my name is Nurul Kamaria binti Budi Irawan. The first one, I would like to introduce about our research. The study is a focus on the change management in organization that occurred in the most industry in the Malaysia. According to Marta Paris Ortiz and Frank Chisolinan, organizational change in open innovation is the best solution and elective to handle the issue of organization. This transformation has necessitated numerous organizational change, including researching, strategic realignments, and technological advancement to meet the demands of a globalized market. According to the article, effects of responsible leadership and the knowledge sharing on the job performance among knowledge workers by the Chief Penglin T. Xiao Huang, we can conclude that responsible leadership and the knowledge sharing have a significant. The next one, I would like to present about the problem statement. The research of this topic is to investigate the change in the management organization that occur most in the Malaysia. Many organizations have realized that there are two critical changes associated with the COVID-19. The news statement of the COVID-19 explained that most organizations now focus more on the employee engagement, integration of technology and digital tools, a guide and the iterative approach, change leadership and the sustainability and the social responsibility. At the same time, most employees are struggling to adapt to the new environment of change in organization. The next one, the research question. The first one, what are the factors that influence the employers to change the organization? The next, our research question. Then, do the change in the organization impact the employee? Next, research objective. The first one, we would like to determine the common cause that influence the change in organization. Second one, to examine the impact of the change whether on the company or its employees. So next one, what the scope of our study? The scope of this study on the implementing ways for the bringing about the change managing the change and assisting individuals in adapting is the goal of a change management. The topic is the change management in organization that occur in the most industry in the Malaysia. The duration of our questionnaire we survey will be more than 1 week.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Syaril and my fellow friends. My name is Siti Nurjana binti Abdul Basir. I will be presenting Chapter 2, Literature Review. Okay, an overview of previous research on the change management organization that occur most in Malaysia is given in this chapter. Okay, it introduces the case study framework, which is the main topic of the research. The main variable is the change management in organizations. So in change management, there is effective change management practice help organizations successfully implement a range of positive changes. So for independent variable, leadership style. For leadership style and effective leadership and management, team understand the importance of the above guideline and their roles. So for independent variable 2, employee behavior. For employee behavior, employee attitudes to change are the key of predictor of organizational change success. Okay. For development of the research hypothesis. For our first hypothesis, there is a significant relationship between change management in organization and leadership style. For our second hypothesis, there is a significant relationship between change management in organization and employee behavior. Okay, for the last part, development of research framework. For our independent variables, have relationship with our dependent variables. Our independent variables is leadership styles. Secondly, employee behavior. For our dependence variable, the change in management.
Research methodology is a structured and systematic approach used to investigate and assess the research question or problem. The tools and methodology used to get the data pertaining to the study will be in depth described in this chapter. Research design. According to Dr. Inam Akhtar, a research design is a method for quality, measuring, and analyze data to answer the research question. It is a types of inquiry that fall into the qualitative, quantitative, and mixed method approach and provide specific direction for research procedure. Then, in research design also mentioned about independent variables, which is a leadership style and employee behavior, while dependent variable change management in organization. After that, questionnaire development. The objective of data collecting is to evaluate the reliability and validity of the methodology in order to determine whether it was reliable and valid, had an impact on the development or design of the questionnaire. In this questionnaire, the indicator of the variable is measured by using a question. Indicate the value of the variable on a specific scale, such as using the scale of 1 to 6 from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And we also use the scale of yes or no. Unit of analysis. The fundamental principle examined. The research served as the unit of analysis. There were 53 respondents who randomly selected in from the Malaysian population, make the total of sample size. The descriptive analysis main focus was on the measurement of population characteristic. Inference statistical analysis examines survey data in order to make inference calculate population size in contrast to descriptive statistics. Sample was randomly chosen from the population. In each probability of being chosen was known. A random sample of the population and the study is selected in this situation. Respondent will be selected at random from list of students from across Malaysia, but due to time constraint and the survey location, we were unable to run it, and we were only over 53 respondents in roughly 2 weeks. Data collection is one of the crucial part of research study because it starts from the process of gathering and compiling information that could be used to understand a variable. There are 2 data collection methods that has been used, where is primary data and secondary data. The primary data come with the questionnaire survey that is been using known as Google Form that has been taken into account use quantitative technique. Respondents who are only students between the age of 18 until 20, age from 30 to 50 and above. The secondary data conveniently the questionnaire from 3 sections that are related to independent and dependent variable. In the first section, section A, which is devoted to demographic data, the majority of section B attention was given to independent variable, which are the rules of change management. The last section is section C, which include the dependent variable that is challenge the impact of change management. Using this data analysis strategy as a guide to get more information will be organized and assessed. The first research objective is to determine the common causes that influence the change in organization, while the second objective is to examine the impact of the change, whether on the company or employees. After that, question divided into 2 questions, which is the first question, what are the factors that influence the employee to change the organization? And the second question is,
do the change in organization impact the employees? After investigate and question has been sent, the hypothesis will be made, where the first hypothesis is the lack of communication and cooperation have a significant impact towards the change in the management. Moreover, the second hypothesis is the leadership style has a significant impact on the behavior of employees. In addition, this research, the Social Science SPSS volume software tool, has been used to analyze the raw data and for documentation purpose.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Azlin. Okay, I will discuss about our finding and data analysis. Okay, for this section, introduce the result of the investigation of the information, starting with the data about the respondent age, gender, race, education level, and years of working experience. And then IBM SPSS statistic software has been used to analyze all the studies data. In applying the statistic, descriptive statistic were used. So the next part is our data coding. Okay, the first one is gender. Gender, we have two, which is female and male. And then the next one is ages, respondent ages, which is from 20 until 30 years old. And then the second one is 31 until 49 years old. And the last one is 50 years old and above. Okay, next is race. We have three race here, which is Malay, Indian, and Chinese. And then education level from diploma, degree, and the last one is master. And also our working experience, years of working experience, which is from 2 years, and then more than 5 years, and the last one is no experience. Okay, the last one is our scale, which is from strongly disagree until strongly agree. Next is descriptive statistic of respondents. Okay, descriptive statistics are a brief collection of descriptive coefficients that describe a set of data that may or may not be representative of all respondents. The average outcomes for each dependent variables investigation are listed below. The IV and DV, also known as the ECMS1, ECMS2, ECMS3, ECMS4, and ECMS5, are depicted in the table that follows, while dependent variable as DV and segment. Next is descriptive statistic of respondents. Okay, descriptive statistics are a brief collection of descriptive coefficients that describe a set of data that may or may not be representative of all respondents. The average outcomes for each dependent variables investigation are listed below. The IV and DV, also known as the ECMS1, ECMS2, ECMS3, ECMS4, and ECMS5, are depicted in the table that follows, while dependent variable as DV and segment. Okay, for this table, I can conclude that there is a higher number in female respondents than male respondents. Okay, for respondents race, we have three, which is Malay, Indian, and Chinese. I can conclude that there are the highest numbers from Malay respondents and the lowest number is from the Chinese respondents. Next, diploma, degree, and master is education level that we set for our research. From this table, I can conclude that there are the highest number from degree respondent and the lowest number is from master respondents. Okay, for the last part, for demographic section, we have respondents' years of experience in works. Okay, I can conclude that there are the highest number from 2 until 4 years of experience, and the lowest numbers are from no experience respondents.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Dayat. So today I want to present about reliability test. So in this slide we see the reliability test table. So the Crosspair Alpha test was performed to assess the internal consistency and reliability of all variables. Next is data analysis. The data produced through output hypothesis testing, simple correlation and multiple regression will be described, shown, summarized and analyzed using IBM SPSS. Next is 43.1 hypothesis testing. In this study, change management in organization is determined among the general population using hypothesis testing. A summary of hypothesis testing may be seen in the table. To determine how the independent variable and dependent variable relate to one another, data were gathered using simple correlation by using. So the first hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between change management in organization and leadership style. The next hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between change management in organization and employees' behavior. So next is 4.3.2 simple correlation. So according to correlation table 4.2.2, the independent variable CCM1, CCM2, CCM3 and CCM4, which ECMs are dependent variable for change management among people in Malaysia. For this slide, we can see the ANOVA table. The model of this study is a good descriptor of the relation between the dependent and predictor variable. Based on the table, F value is the ratio of two variance. 2 mean square V is regression 0.264 and for residual 1.444. Mean square are simply variance that account for the degrees of freedom used to estimate the variance. F value are the test statistics for F test. The F value is 0.183 at 0.000 significant. This can conclude that the model is significant. Therefore, all the four independent variables are significant to explain the variance toward the dependent variable.
Hi, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Sharil. My name is Sarah Sofia. I will present Chapter 5, Discussion and Conclusions. This chapter reviews the research that has been conducted. The research is generally given a simple summary. This section covers all pertinent topics such as the study objective, research technique, and research framework. Okay, so now we're talking about summary of findings. The main aim of the study is to determine whether students or members of the public who share the same characteristic of age, gender, education level, and academic standing will behave similarly in their personal and academic lives, but quite differently in other areas. An example of an individual in a different background. Some work while studying, some work full-time. So in the sense, there is also a certain difference. Okay, now I'm talking about discussion of the findings. Nowadays, finding a work-life balance is important for both students and employees. According to the premise, social life significantly affect the extent to which students and workers balance their lives, as well as to adapt every change that occurs in a specific management or organization. Okay, here we go. We're talking about discussion of the findings, significant implication of the research. The first one is theoretical. Second thing is practitioner. Lastly is policymakers and society. Okay, the first one is theoretical. The research findings hold important theoretical implication for the field of change management in organizations. Research findings hold important theory implications for field of change internal management. An example of an organization is that in this topic we are looking for changes in management, especially in the pandemic era. Okay, the second thing is we're talking about for practitioner and organization leader. Research discovery practical offer implications for manage change effectively as much as possible without feeling dissatisfied and having to adapt any situation in the organization. Okay, last but not least, the third one is for policymakers and the general public. This research emphasized the importance of change management in promoting organizational resilience and adaptability. Apart from that, also with this analysis, we can know the achievements that happen based on this research, and it's very helpful to the community.
So next is 5.5 limitation of research. There have three limitation of the research. The first one is sample size. The study was conducted with a relatively small sample size of 53 respondents, while efforts were made to ensure data accuracy and respective. A larger sample size could have provided more robust and generalizable results. Next is generalizability. The research focus on organizations in Malaysia which may have unique culture, economy and regulatory factors. As a result, the finding may not be directly applicable to organizations in other countries or regions. Next is cross-section design. The research adopt a cross-section design to capture data at a single point in time. Despite this limitation, the research serves as a valuable starting point for understanding change management in organizations and offer practically insight for stakeholders involved in organization development and policy making.